controversial news. Today we'll be discussing the issues of stereotype threat and the differences in citizen experience of police encounters. In today's society, many people have experienced police encounters that have made an impact on how they view police. Many have felt as if they were being stereotyped or as if they have covered their emotions to seem less suspicious. Cultural stereotypes portray blacks as delinquents or criminals, which then affects the way that police officers view them. Based on race, blacks feel stereotype threat when in the presence of police officers. Stereotype threat is the concern one experiences when at risk of being perceived in light of a negative stereotype that one applies to one's group. Here are two studies that evaluate stereotype threat and the differences in race as citizens experience with police encounters. In the first study, 49 black and 184 white men participants were asked to express how they felt when interacting with police officers. The psychologist also wanted to test whether gender is related with stereotype threat individuals reported experiencing in police encounters. The participants then completed a survey that evaluated their experiences. The results indicated that black participants in the study were more likely than the white participants to feel stereotyped by cops. The second study was conducted based on 79 black and 100 white males, rather than both genders and all races. The participants were asked to imagine that they were experiencing a police encounter while the police officer is nearby. Participants were asked to then explain their emotions and how they would feel with this type of encounter. Majority of the black participants were more likely to experience anxiety and try to prevent or suppress these feelings as the police officer may sense they were being suspicious.
How do you feel around police officers?
I could definitely say I do get nervous. As I could say, as a black child, just to be real, I do get nervous around police officers. It's just hereditary. It's just something that I'm used to based off what I see.
You know, why do you think that is?
I mean, it's no secret that, looking at the whole police brutality thing surrounding around black people in general, minorities in general, and I'm a strong Black Lives Matter supporter. So just seeing all of the brutality on social media, seeing police officers being so rough and aggressive with innocent individuals, especially black individuals, it just makes me nervous because that could be me, that could be my friend, family. So.
And do you think that there is a way that we could change the stereotype that police officers have against us minorities?
Most definitely. Like they say, one bad apple spoils the whole bunch. So I do feel that when we start, I feel like the process to become a police officer should definitely be a lot more thorough. I believe that when we stop seeing so many police officers doing such bad things, then we'll stop feeling that fear. If we keep seeing what we're seeing on like live TV, we're not going to stop being nervous because it could, like I say, it could literally happen to us. I feel that to make it better, honestly, I feel like police officers should start calling out their peers who are prejudiced, who are doing things in similar manners. I just feel that everybody needs to come together and be for everybody and care for each other and respect everybody, period.
Last question. Have you had any encounters with police officers?
I have, but they haven't been out of the ordinary. They've been regular. Thank God for that, though. But some of my friends, they've actually encountered some rough stories with police officers that isn't too good. So.
Not scared, or maybe intimidated-ish. I don't know how else to describe it.
Why do you think that is?
Because for the longest, a lot of people have been like against us, and especially police officers, especially when you see in the news, that's all it is. It's not really any other kind of person or people.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to be accused by a cop?
So 10 being like very secure. 4. About a 4, solid 4.
Okay. And have you had any encounters with police officers?
Just one. Yes.
Do you mind telling us how that went?
Yes. I was on my way to a friend's house to pick her up for homecoming. And so I was waiting in her driveway. And these two other white neighbors, I guess, from across the street had called 911 So in like 10 minutes later, they like pulled up and they were asking what I was doing there. And I was already just dressed up in a tuxedo and everything. And I told them I was waiting for a friend for homecoming. So they still wanted to like check. So they asked for my ID and everything. And they're like, okay, well, like 2 people just called and they thought you were going to like rob the place or whatever. And I literally was doing nothing.
In a tuxedo?
Yes, I was literally sitting in the car just waiting. So,
Wow. Last question. Is there a way that you think that the stereotype that police officers, is there a way that you think that we can change that stereotype that they have?
in all honesty, I don't know. I feel like we'll do everything in our power to try, but a lot of people won't change, or they won't see the difference or what we're trying to say or hear what we're trying to say. So, I don't think so.
All right.
How do you feel around police officers?
I get nervous even if I didn't do anything or none of my friends did anything, so I just try to like be quiet and do whatever they say.
So do you feel like when it comes to racial injustice or, you know, any race at all, it becomes like a stereotype, getting accused, a certain race getting accused more than another?
Yeah, I feel like that definitely happens a lot, like in every kind of thing, like police officers and all kinds of stuff like that. I think it's there.
Do you feel like there's anything we could do to change it, or do you feel like humans have limited power to certain things?
I think the more open to each other we are about ideas and everything, that we can definitely change things, and more people will be more empathetic, and like if we start like not being racist around each other and like raising our kids the right way, then I think change will come slowly. But if we keep having corrupt people in power, then it's going to be tough.
How do you feel around police officers?
I feel safe most of the time, yeah.
How do you feel if a certain race is stopped by a police officer? Do you feel like threatened, or do you feel intimidated because of your race?
Well, I don't feel if a person around me is stopped by the police because of the race. I don't feel intimidated, but I feel angry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like I cannot do something about it, and it makes me angry.
Is there a way you think we could change the stereotype around the police?
I don't know, actually. Maybe there is a way, but I really don't know how.
How?
So how do you feel around police officers?
Sometimes it makes me feel nervous as a mixed child, but I feel like I'm supposed to be protected, and I'm not feeling that.
Have you had any like recent encounters with police officers?
Yes,
How did
on
that-
campus, and I reported something, but their immediate reaction was they blamed it on me. So I will not be going back to them for anything.
Do you think that it's all police officers who have who hold a certain stereotype against certain races?
No, but I feel like with police officers, it's basically reflecting the world. There's still some that have it, and we're only spotlighting them. Most of them aren't, but it's the bad ones that are affecting everybody.
Is there a way you think that we could change the stereotype that police officers have against certain races?
I feel like they should be going through more processes, because if we don't allow it in our natural world, we shouldn't be allowing the people to protect us have those like opinions.
Mm-hmm. Scale from like 0 to 10, 0 being, not likely, 10 being more likely. How likely do you feel to be like the officers like accusing you of something?
8.
So how do you feel around police officers?
How do I feel about what?
Around police officers.
That's a funny question. I used to feel a lot more paranoid when I was younger. I'm 34 now. I would say all the way up until I was in my mid-20s, I felt very nervous and almost afraid. I felt like I was in the ocean and they were a shark in the ocean. Yeah. But as I got older and I started evolving and spreading out and learning about the world and everything, I started realizing that it's not that big of a deal. So I'm a lot more comfortable around them nowadays, and I say hi and I talk to them, and I'm more open about. Plus, a lot of laws have changed recently too, so that kind of makes things easier.
How do you feel? Do you think there's a stigma around cops?
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of people have a negative view on cops, and I think it depends all on where you live. For example, I feel like we're a small community here on the Treasure Coast, Fort Pierce and Port St. Lucie. I think we have a lot of people on the police force that are more acceptable of everybody's walk of life. Whereas you go to a bigger city, you might see cops that are first of all more paranoid because they go through higher risk situations, and there you find that there might be a little bit of a bias. But I think overall here where we live, I think for the most part we're pretty good.
Do you feel that there's a certain stereotype around police officers?
Yes, I do.
What do you feel? How do you feel about it?
I feel that it's the stereotypes deserved.
Okay. In what sense?
That I'm a registered nurse. If we see abuse, neglect, racism, disregard for human life, a registered nurse will report another registered nurse immediately. If you make a mistake, human error, I'll help you fix that. If you show abuse, neglect, any discrimination at all, nurses won't tolerate it from other nurses. The state board steps in immediately and action is taken. I think that police officers ought to be held to the same standard. I think the majority are decent, but they let the bad ones get away with it. They need accountability.
Okay. How do you think that could be fixed?
By holding them accountable. I don't know what the answer is. I think police unions are helping perpetuate it and cover up and not making them accountable instead of the nursing board holds you accountable. The police union seems to defend the bad behavior.
Okay.
Start with the police unions.
Have you ever came across a police encounter?
Not personally, but I've witnessed it from a distance.
Okay, and how did that make you feel witnessing?
I was very concerned. It didn't seem like justice was being done. But I don't know all of the mitigating circumstances. But from what I've seen, I think they kind of excessive. In the past, I know of a young man that was beaten pretty severely here in Fort Pierce. Matter of fact, his mother was a member of our church, and he ended up dying from it in Longwood.
From being beaten by police?
Yes. One of the task force, whatever they call it, yeah.
How do you feel about the stigma around cops?
Well, like I say, personally, I don't have a problem, but some of them could be, kind of touchy. That would be the word I would use, touchy.
How do you feel if a certain race is stereotyped more than another?
Well, that's definitely one of the major problems here this day and time, especially being black. I think you're definitely handled different from the